It's time for the Cease and Desist podcast.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Cease and Desist podcast. My name is Andy Matheson, Chief Marketing Officer here at Glovebox. Hello, Ryan. How are you today?
What up?
Hey, no Sean. What are we going to do without him?
No, Sean's here. Hi, I'm Sean.
That'd be great.
Sean's not here.
So now that we have video for the podcast, they'll see us, but we should throw some Photoshop in there for some sort of graphic. That'd be good.
I mean, when we're not here, we need a placeholder, like some sort of big stuffed animal, something to let people know that they're not here, because otherwise it's just an empty chair.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Yeah. Man, it's been a crazy ass week.
I'm so tired.
I'm sick and tired.
Yeah.
Gabby was sick. I'm tired. Sick and tired.
It's just, when you're running a startup company, it doesn't matter what industry, it's coming in from all angles, right? You're getting punched all over the place. So you just got to maintain, just got to hang in there, and just feeling like a boxer right now.
Man,
so
just hang in. I want to introduce these guests. Actually, you introduce them.
Oh, my gosh.
Get these guys in here already.
I love these guys.
Yeah.
So our friends down in Orlando, Florida, from Erb and Young. What's up, boys? How you doing today? Taylor, Brett, and Rod. Say what's up to the Cease and Desist.
What's up, boys? For having us, fellas.
Yeah, this is going to be a blast. We've been meaning to have you on now for at least a few months, and so it's good to not only getting to meet you when we saw you at the One City World Tour, but getting to know you better and becoming friends and business partners along the way. So thank you so much for not only being a Glovebox client, but for being friends of ours.
Oh, man, we're super stoked to be here.
All-star squad.
Yeah, this is my first time on a podcast as a guest. We've hosted.
Don't blow it.
I love that. Oh man.
Brett's our face for the podcast, man. When anybody's a guest. So
and I want to say Rod's got numerous books behind him, and I'm 50-50 on whether he reads them or not. I'm 50-50 right now, but it's a good look nonetheless. It's a good
over
look.
Under 3 a year.
You can ask my partners.
So here's the deal. I want to get this off the table right now.
Uh-oh.
Nick Ayers from Better Agency has challenged me to a Big Mac eat-off. Now, I agreed to the Big Mac eat-off when I was a little drunk after brunch last Saturday. So I want to set that stage first and foremost.
Yeah.
But I will set the precedence right now. I can eat more Big Macs in 10 minutes than Nick Ayers from Better Agency right now. It's recorded on the cast.
I mean, my money's on you for sure.
I mean, when I say I got a Billy Goat stomach, I got a Billy Goat stomach.
Yeah. Well, we'll promote the hell out of that. That'll be fun. We'll probably do it live. I think that will be a good opportunity for people to see what's really going on.
I mean, it is what it is. What do you guys eat down in Florida? What's good? Is it barbecue? Is it like fried? What is it? All of that?
Yeah, we're like the melting pot, man. You know, it's whatever your guest wants to eat.
Right?
It's Florida, man. So, we're headline news, troublemaking state, so we eat everything.
See, we always get like the sketchy seafood because by the time it makes it to Denver, it's like
it's a couple days old.
Yeah. Especially with supply chain issues. I had sushi on Sunday and it was.
We all know how that ended. So
it was a little shifty.
Oh man! Hey guys, I want to hear. Let's start with Taylor. Taylor, tell us what your experience was when you came out to Denver a couple months ago for the One City World Tour. I'd love to hear from you.
It was remarkable.
Cool.
And I think, the three of us have been away on events together, anything from Tony Robbins and everywhere in between. And we've never really done an insurance event per se. And the three of us walked away with that, with more juice than we ever have probably as a partnership. And a lot of that had to do with you guys and the people that threw it and the way that just the communication, the people that we were able to be around, grab drinks with, grab dinner with, and just borrow from as far as just masterminding. So it was an incredible event in Denver. And unfortunately, I was the guy that flew home a night early. I still have FOMO from missing that last night.
Yeah. Brett and Rod and I and a couple others had a blast that night. So thanks, boys. That was great. The Nuggets game and everything. That was awesome. So Brett, talk to us about that event.
Dude, that event was over the top, man. I didn't know what the expectation would be going into it, but it exceeded what the three of us anticipated, which was really cool. So a lot of collaboration, like jam packed with content, like you couldn't really get out of your chair. You felt like if you're going to go to the bathroom, you were going to miss some stuff, which is always the best events. You come back with pages of notes. You can't write fast enough. It was almost, when you're asking for the recordings of sessions afterwards, that's when you're at a good event, man. So you guys did an unbelievable job. And I will just say right now, if there's anybody that's listening to this podcast and you're in the insurance space, you missed out. You totally missed out.
And it was
don't miss out on the next.
And it was cheap, right? $150.
That's what I'm saying. Like from an expectation standpoint, it was like, I just want to be in the room with, with the cast of characters that was there, specifically with you guys and all the people that you guys brought in. But so, it could have been whatever the ticket was, and it would have been a yes. But for the amount of, what we paid for the value that we got, it was disproportionately large. So, and that just shows the character of you guys. It says, look, man, this isn't about making an event and bringing in a bunch of cash. This is about us getting these agents in a room and us getting better. And I think I guess what I took away was there's a ton of champions for the space. And that really encouraged me, because sometimes you're in your agency and you're just doing your thing and you think it's just you. And to know that there's this group of people all across the country that are looking to improve the channel and do big things and do cutting edge stuff and bring tech to the space and all the things that we want to do. But you get all those people in a room, it was magical, man.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Rod, any couple takeaways for you?
Yeah. For me, it was like Brett and Taylor both said, it was our first time being at an industry event, in the 11 years that we have had our company. I'd been to previous industry events in other industries that I've been to, and I just felt immediately out of the gate. Number one, I didn't know a whole lot going on. I reviewed the agenda and saw the roster, but didn't really know who was who. I just knew that my biggest reason for going there was to meet you three. So that was a highlight for me. The way that you guys and everybody else shared in such a genuine way. And it really boils down to your slide that you said, what I hate the most. And it's like talking about, you come to an event, you come to listen to someone, like Brett said, pages and pages of notes, you couldn't write fast enough. But it's like, you're hearing from people that truly want to give you their playbook. And I don't mean give it to you in a way that, doesn't have to be met with a lot of intensity and a lot of work, but just to say, hey, if there's some things that you've run up against, man, we've already built this wheel. You don't have to build a new wheel. So I just found that just the spirit in which you guys conducted the event was world class, and I've been messed up ever since, man.
This guy's been on a roll.
We're looking forward to running it back. That'll be great.
What the most impressive thing about you guys was, and I mean this with the most sincerity. You guys are a $30 million agency. You acted like you were a $2 million agency with the way you were so ready to learn and engage and just pick up, better ways of doing business, perhaps. Like, it was super impressive. Most people that have a $30 million agency, hey, I got it figured out. I don't need your help.
Thanks,
My way works. And so I think that's what stuck out to me the most by far. You guys were in the front asking questions, taking notes like you guys had just started. It was wild.
Yeah, Brian, that's I know these guys are shaking their head because that is the best compliment that you could possibly give us.
Yeah, it was wild.
We that's intentional, man. We learned a long time ago, be the first to show up and be the last to leave. Yeah. Live events are magical. We do a lot of live events with our teams. We understand the power of them. And then, you should be in the front. If you can get to the front, I get to tell you the first day we got there, we were a little late and we were in the back and we were not happy about it. Yeah. And we kind of looked at each other and said, well, that was a mistake. So the second day we got there and, we wanted to be in the front row. So you should be the person with the most notes, and you should be in the front taking notes, So
awesome.
It was wild. Yeah. It's super big respect. You guys are really big on mental health, really big on mindset. You guys actually host an event, if I'm not mistaken, right? On just general mindset and success and wellness and all that. So I'd love for you guys to talk about that, because I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah, man, we consider ourselves a long time ago, personal development company that happens to sell insurance. Yep. And, we try to walk that ourselves. We wanted to create a place that first of all, the three of us wanted to be, and the three of us could create a vehicle that we could grow in personally.
And we felt like if we did that, that other people would be attracted to that. But yeah, our annual leadership summit may be what you're referencing. And we do an event with our team that, each year we talk about where we came from, why we exist, where we are now, how do we finish the year, and then what's next? What's our vision for the company? It's a really powerful event. And I think we borrow as much from that event, even though we put it on, us and the leadership team now, as we do for anybody that's in attendance. So yeah, man, that's a big time compliment. Thank you.
One thing I probably should have done a much better job on the front end of this conversation was allow you guys to talk about your agency, how you got started, the dynamic. If you could tell us about your roles and kind of a little bit about the agency.
Well, okay, well, I'll take the first end of that. Obviously it's a three-legged stool with the three of us. It's a equal partnership. What I'm really proud about our partnership is, everybody has their own unique ways of doing it. We all three operate in different verticals in the business. We've all had different hats at different times. It's a complete 100% even partnership. No one is paid different than anybody else. Whatever we make that year, it's three ways. We are all in together. Beating at the same drum, which I think is cool because I think everybody structures it differently. But for us, that's been something we're super proud of. But obviously, Taylor I've known him my entire life since we're blood brothers, and Rod I've known for almost 20 years now. It's coming up on. But we met through some entrepreneurial stuff that we were doing. I met him back when I was in college, and we got introduced to a company together. Started running together, doing like supplemental, it was a supplemental benefit product in the insurance space. It was actually, there was two forms of distribution. One was employee benefits, and the other was actually a network marketing model. And we gravitated towards both, did well in both, but really liked the team building side of what we did. We learned from some significant mentors in the personal development space, and we grew a lot during that time, for 5 years. So we built a pretty good business, and then at the time decided that that insurance product's at a really low price point for us, and it was going to be really difficult to scale. So we looked into what it would look like to take those that same model and that same mindset and apply it to an industry that, in my opinion, is now progressing, but has been kind of this dinosaur age back, dust the dust off the book industry that is, in my opinion, the best industry in the world. And so we wanted to kind of take those same team building concepts that we had learned in the network marketing space, where you have hundreds of people, thousands of people showing up and paying their own way and being entrepreneurs in and of themselves and learning all these different dynamics to build a business for themselves, to have a path to unlimited. And take that into an industry where people just show up because they want to earn a paycheck, and there's no dynamic, there's no fire, there's no juice. So, and that's what we loved. So we wanted to kind of blend those two together. And through doing that, Taylor had showed an interest in doing that with us. We kind of got lucky because he was in an internship he hated. He was in college at the time, and I was like, hey man, I bought him a Chipotle burrito at Chipotle for $8 and recruited him right there on the spot. So I'm sure if he knew how hard it was going to be the first 3 or 4 years, he would have thought twice about that one. But but it was fun.
Smart decision.
He made
Smart
it out. You just got to make it to the other side. That's insurance, man. Most people don't make it. And here you are. Right. You got the golf clubs in the back. That's winning. So
that's a great recap. Great recap. Now, what product lines do you guys focus on?
Well, Taylor runs our personal line side of our business, and that's about 75% of our business. Okay. And that was where we started. And then as of recently, it's been probably 4.5 years, 5 years. Rod's run our commercial side of our business. So, but that's the mix in our agency. It's about 75%, 25% personal versus commercial.
Let me ask you this. So you guys talk about, physical and mental wellness and, personal development and team building, which is very difficult in insurance. It's a very tough business to recruit people in that, as you said, are hungry, are motivated, have the juice, that don't just want to sit there and earn a paycheck. How do you guys take your personal development skills and kind of apply that to recruiting and looking for new talent to add to the team? Like, how does that play into your recruiting process?
Man, I'll let one of those guys take that, but that's a great question.
I'll take that one. I think what's really been fun for us, short of recently when we've as we've gotten a little bit bigger and our need for talent, the gap between need for talent has shrunk. Yep. We didn't really look at people that came from the insurance industry out of the gate. I mean, we found people that we would meet along the way in hospitality. A lot of our key people come from hospitality. We've always said, just wherever you are, whoever you interact with, you're going to come across personalities that you would choose you'd like to work with. And that's always kind of been our model. It's like, we want to work with people that we want to work with, not people that we have to work with. Yep. And I think you see that now if you look inside of our walls. Every person that comes in, our number one filter is, are they going to fit our culture? Yep. We don't set out to hire the best insurance minds. I think we set out to hire the best of humans. And I think that's worked out really, really well for us when you look at just the quality of person, right? And then you asked Ryan specifically about personal development. Personal development is a tool and it's a choice that we give people. Yep. The one thing we tell them is that in order for you to be here, you've got to grow. Yep. We don't say in order for you to be here, you got to become the best insurance agent, which also, by the way, happens more so by default, because the more we pour into each other, the more we pour into ourselves, and that we give ourselves the greatest gift of personal development. Personal development is the greatest gift you could ever give yourself. But as we've found, people that come in with just good attitudes are also hungry. People that come in that are with good attitudes that are also hungry are coachable. People that come in with good attitudes that are hungry, that are coachable, man, guess what? It doesn't matter what the application, they're going to find success. And I think that's one of the things that makes me the most proud of the three of us for staying true to that is we've really never wavered. We've never said, man, there's a producer out there that writes $100 million a year. Yeah. I'm exaggerating. Obviously, it's like, well, but he's a dick. Yeah. You know, we don't want him around.
He can be remote. Honestly,
well, we hear about
that. He can be remote.
We hear about that all the time. People wavering on like, hey, my top producer is a Cancer, right? And so a lot of people don't have the, kahunas, male or female, to let that person go, right? To cut bait. Hey, I love the production you put up, but you're not a culture fit. And it sounds like you guys put culture first, which is huge.
Yeah, and that's usually because they have a production problem. Right. What we're finding right now is it's not a production problem; it's a capacity problem, right? Sure, the systems and processes aren't keeping up with the production that we have, right? Like, so that's the problem you want. Give me a person with a good attitude and that's willing to work and that has soft skills. You can come here and be very, very successful. Period. End of story. Right? Like, you don't know how to market, you don't know insurance. It's fine. We can teach you how to do that. That's easy. So, part of the personal development stuff for us is just because it was something that we were into. I learned a long time ago that you could determine the size of somebody's paycheck by the problems they solve, right? So just the simple framework and shifts that people have never heard before. They don't understand that. They're usually, underworked, underpaid, miserable, not happy, unfulfilled. And it's usually because their lens is foggy. It's not because their situation is bad, right? Like, so what we teach people is to be able to kind of change the way that they look at things. And, for us, we spend every single waking moment of figuring out how do we create an opportunity where someone can truly have unlimited. And whether you start, as the secretary when you first come in and you move all the way to the CEO role, we just genuinely believe that we're creating a vehicle where you can have anything you want here. Because at the end of the day, that's why we started this was, we had certain experiences in our past where we were that they capped where we're at, and things didn't go the way that we thought they would go. And in turn, we started Erb and Young out of necessity. We didn't start Erb and Young because we drew it up on a whiteboard. That wasn't that. My background before we got into Erb and Young was I worked for an agency for about 2 years. Rod and I had gone out to try to build a team within an agency. We weren't trying to build an agency. I was at least savvy enough to know at the time, and Rod was working his job at the time, and his wife was coming to work with me. We were savvy enough to know that starting an agency from scratch is a very difficult thing, very challenging dilemma. There's a very big barrier to entry. So we had 4 or 5, team members that had come parked their business and we were building a team at this agency. And long story short, without getting into the details of that didn't go the way that it should have gone. And after we had brought over all that ammunition, I guess, if you will, about 13 months into that, when renewals started to pour in, they basically tried to change my contract. They tried to change what we had agreed upon.
How convenient. How convenient.
Very,
month 13.
Right? Very convenient, right? So, and, you know, it just put us in a situation where we had to make a really tough choice. And, you know, and luckily that choice, I'm glad it was it was the greatest thing that ever happened to us. So luckily, because of that, you know, because of those tough situations, we made a decision to kind of, and we looked at other big boxes. We went to all the big boxes. I interviewed with all the big box shops as far as agencies are concerned, because I was at a small agency. I was like, all right, well, I got to go to a big agency. Right. So we go to a big agency and say, hey, look, here's the deal. Here's what we've got. I've got this team. I'd like to bring them here. I'd like to build a team within a team, because that's what we were used to. Right. We were always used to enterprising. It's just, let me enterprise inside of your system. And I just found out real quick that it was not like that. It's very corporate America. What have you done for me lately? Like, that's not how this works here. It just was not a good feeling. So out of necessity of not finding what we wanted in the marketplace, which is a culture-driven, progressive, personal development, write your own ticket type of agency here, we just didn't find that. And so that's why Erb and Young was started.
Super cool. Gosh, that's an impressive story. I want to ask something specifically for Taylor and Brett. The family dynamic. So, you know, brotherly love here. Let's get into this a little bit. Talk about being in business with each other, and how often are you fighting?
And what day is it, right? It matters.
Yeah,
what depends on the day.
It's a Friday, so go ahead, Rod. You want to take this one?
I want you to start with them. I want you to start with them, but I definitely get a follow up here.
All right.
Rod just grabbed his popcorn. He's like sitting down.
No, we. You know, what's interesting though is when we started, we were a little bit younger, certainly much more broke, and a little bit more feisty. So I think the early days, you know, when we both started, we didn't have any money. We were scratch, and we both moved in my parents. I give Brett mad props. I was getting out of college, and I didn't know, what I was going to do. It wasn't as big a deal for me. I was 23 years old. So, moving to my parents, I'm, essentially not married, no kids, nothing like that. And Brett moved in with a family. And so it was just 24/7, man. You work together, you live together. Most days were great, but some days, that tension would rise in a very healthy way. But the one thing that I'll say about Brett, we're very different. We're values aligned, but we're very different. And I think as we've gotten older, we've continued to grow more and more respect for those differences. And our approach has gotten better. It's gotten more respectful, got more tactful. But make no mistake, man, like we were joking about in Denver, man, it's 11 years. It's blood, sweat, and tears, both passionate human beings. I mean, we've certainly got into it physically and mentally. And you know what? I'm proud of that, man. There's, it's not to the point when I was 19 years old and we were actually in concert, and all I needed to know is Brett left in handcuffs and I left with the paramedics. So, that's one of my favorite stories, because you know what it gave us? It gave us a gift, because we now have a code word. So anytime tensions rise between us, we were at a Kenny Chesney concert and we didn't see Kenny. We didn't make it through the opener.
Didn't happen.
So anytime things get heated, we always just, just say Kenny.
Yeah. Oh man. Nice.
I love it. No, and I think if you guys didn't have some, a little bit of tension, a little bit of there's got to be some competitiveness. There always is, right? When you got three, animal salespeople that want to grow a big team and then want to grow a successful team, there's always going to be some competitive dynamics, which is if there wasn't, you'd have a problem, I think. If everybody's just sitting on their hands, you got issues. So,
Rod, what's your follow up here? Sounds like you got some comments.
Well, no, I love hearing that from Taylor, and I just see Brett smiling, and man, I'm a proud partner. When I met these guys, there wasn't a lot to be impressed about on the surface, and I'm not saying that I was somebody impressive. I don't mean that at all, but I mean I saw I just saw a ton of potential in these guys. I knew they were people that I wanted to be around. But their ability back then to resolve a conflict between the two of them, I mean, I'm looking at them going, is this what it's like to have a brother, man? I'm like, no thanks. I've got 3 sisters, right? So I probably have the tenderness. But here's what I'll tell you. As our business grew and as our partnership went through a lot of different phases, I watched these two men become really, really close. a lot closer than when I first met them. And now to watch them respect one another for, number one, their differences, number two, and yeah, they're both aggressive. We're all three aggressive. I think there's a lot of compliment there, but no, these two guys have learned how to be close. And I would tell you that if you were watching a conflict now, you could coach off of it just on how to handle it. I just have a lot of respect for how far they've come in, with egos and with I don't mean egos in a bad way. I just mean everybody's got an ego.
Yep.
These guys have just learned how to respect one another. And I think that's cool to watch them out of the gate fight like cats and dogs. And a couple of times I'm like, holy shit, man. I'm like, I'm not going to get my ass beat over these two. And,
again, you got
now
your popcorn in the background. All right.
Well, yeah, it's just, it's fun to have seen that progression. And I don't think anybody's had a closer seat than me. So I'm just proud of them for how they love each other.
I could never work with my brother. I don't know how you guys do it.
What a dumb idea.
I could never do that.
Yeah, for some reason we don't fight. I don't know why.
No, and we're both very competitive,
yeah,
which is super odd.
If we bicker, I think it's very brief and we move on.
No, we don't really.
You guys are grown-ups.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think it's kind of the same thing as you guys. We have a healthy respect for what each other brings to the table.
Yeah,
we know that we're all trying to get to the same place. There's no reason to create friction where we're all trying to get to the same private jet. So, we're trying to get there, man. Right. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I want to give Rod props. I mean, I think a lot of that development has come from having three partners. For us, I could just tell you right now, if Taylor and I were partners, it was just the two of us, this wouldn't have worked. It's just you just are not able to kind of see it eye to eye a lot of times. And having that third partner, especially with Rod, has an incredible temperament, and is just a very emotionally intelligent. To have somebody to kind of mediate that stuff and cool off some person and be able to, hey, look, I know where you're coming from, but hey, I know where this is coming from too. Like, if you thought about it this way, and it's like, I think in the early stages of our careers, that was so valuable because we weren't able to, I don't think we were mature enough at that time to really resolve that or see or have perspective. It took a lot of growth. It took a lot of development for us to do that. I mean, we were, we had never worked together, and we went from, competing in basketball together all the way up to maybe a 3 or 4 year, break in college. And then right after that, we got into business with each other. As far as we're concerned, I'm still his big brother and he's still my little brother. And he's still trying to beat me up on the basketball court. But
is he a better shooter than Steph Curry?
Oh,
is he better than Steph Curry?
I was going to lead into that. So actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Brett,
great story.
Okay, so first and foremost, Taylor, we're going to talk about you for a second.
Are you the third Splash brother?
Brett is going to tell the story that I heard when he was out here in Denver about, I guess, Steph Curry. Brett, can you please lead us into this story?
Can you explain who's Steph Curry, guys?
I think it was Seth Curry. I don't know if it was Steph Curry. No, I'm joking.
No, it's Steph.
He's like, let me get this straight.
It wasn't Seth.
The GOAT. Yeah, Brett.
Man.
Brett, I need to hear.
It gets better and better every time he puts on a performance. It just gets to be like more equity in the story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Taylor, for all those that are listening, Taylor is and was a phenomenal basketball player. If you still walk into the I'm sure if you got into a Y League, last Y League I played with you, I think you dropped like 40. If you were hitting some Steph Curry threes, but he was a fantastic basketball player. If you still walk into the high school gym that we played, you'll see T. Young splattered all over the wall in there. So he's a legend around here when it comes to b-ball. And had some significant offers coming out of high school, and one of those offers was to Davidson, and it was that's where Taylor was looking like he was going to go to play basketball, and got all the way down to the wire, all the way to the end, was pretty much ready to go, all locked in, and the world gives you these divine interventions that you don't really understand at the time, but he gets a, kind of a knock on the 11th hour that says, hey, we really appreciate all the time you spent thinking about Davidson. We just want to let you know we've gone in a different direction. We're going to pick up this kid who we think is going to be a really good player. And, his name is Steph Curry.
No, he didn't even say the name, man. He said his dad went to Virginia Tech. We thought he'd go to Virginia Tech, and
there you go.
I had no idea who they were talking about.
There you go. So of course he's crushed.
That's a pretty That's a pretty respectable turn down, though. You know,
at the time it was like,
you
what
don't
the
know
fuck?
though. You don't know who it is, and then and that's a very good point, Tay. You don't know who it is, like right, and then you go to the next school. You're thinking, man, they passed up on me, like and then the ego's like, yo, I'm gonna show them, or they made a mistake, and all of a sudden we find out it's Steph, and Steph was in college, especially in this freshman year, he was small. You're like, tiny. Is this kid going to be as good as he's going to be? Like, he's completely different. And then, of course, he starts to blossom, his later years, and now he becomes, arguably, probably not even arguably, best point guard,
the best shooter of all time. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, they could have had Taylor Young. They may have made a mistake. I don't know.
There's no question. There's no question that I'm the better insurance professional. But I will say, I do want to clarify, there was not an official offer from Davidson. It was just down to the wire, and it was expected. But the story gets a little bit better. I had a friend that, again, I don't even, I find out that it's Steph Curry, and he's still kind of nobody at the time. But I had a friend that was going to Davidson. It's a small school. So I just told her, I said, look, if you see Steph, you need to tell him that he took my scholarship. And they were at a party, and she went up to him and said, hey, my friend was going to come here for basketball, like, you took his scholarship. And she said that he kind of just looked at her and paused, and it was like, it was never his scholarship.
So there was so there was no apology by Steph Curry.
No, there wasn't. And the story just keeps getting funnier, obviously, because he's doing things that we've never seen. But
did you watch that All-Star game? That All-Star game was insane this year.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like, what is he doing, man? I'm 34. I'm on the Cease and Desist podcast. I'm drinking a high noon.
Loving life.
An All-Star weekend.
Erb and Young wouldn't be a thing.
Are you guys the Splash Brothers of insurance?
Ooh.
Like, have you branded that yet? I mean, you can take that on.
That could catch fire.
I thought it was GQ of insurance.
I kind of like the Splash Brothers of insurance, though. I could get behind that.
All right.
Is there a trademark infringement? Are we going to get a cease and desist?
I wouldn't even worry about it. Put it on your wall like we do and move along.
We have this new thing. We're trying to get a cease and desist on every episode, so we're expecting to say something wrong here and get one from you guys.
No, this one has been good.
Yeah, you get canceled, man.
So you guys have a really good, really strong agency. You've got, you're crushing it. What's next? Like, how do you take it to the next level? Because you guys have big ambitions. You've got big goals, but you guys have already created such an amazing business. Like, what's next?
Oh man, I think that's perspective. I don't think we've done anything yet.
Yeah, no doubt. Especially after Denver.
I mean, it's wild.
I just look at there's so many opportunities just riddled inside the walls. Like every day, you just look at it and going, there's just 100x opportunity just because of how bad we are. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek, but like I don't know if I don't. It's hard to look past what's next because we're in it. We're just so in it that like. I feel like we've just figured it out, in the last maybe 24 months.
It's a good feeling.
30 million in premium worth of figuring it out. Like I know people that have been in the business 30 years that have a $5 million book that, it's wild.
You said 5.
I said 5, exactly. And I meant 5. It's probably 4.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
They're probably lying to me.
That's what I meant.
I'll tell you, we had an enemy early on, and I think it's different for everyone, right? So just what gasses us a little bit was we defined an enemy, and we didn't want to be a small agency. I mean, there's certain, we didn't want to be the small business that lacked resources, that at a turn of a hat or a turn of a market cycle that circumstances could put you out. And we wanted to scale something. We continue to want to scale something, as Brett mentioned. And I think what's fun about it is we're the kind of agency or kind of business that like we bought our first company sign after we've been in business for 5 years, right? We didn't have a space for 2 years. I still don't even use business cards because I'm so trained on being that nimble, resourceful, no money, scrappy, go get a customer first, create demand in the marketplace. And unapologetically, the three of us align in that big time. And so we're not a first things first type agency or company. We're go get a customer, go learn how that customer wants to be served, and then scale that through marketing, and then backfill that through recruiting, and creating a culture that wants to do the same thing. And I think that type of thing. We talk about what's next. we want to take everything we've done over the last 11 years, and we feel like we're just getting started, and help others do that. And people within our ecosystem, we're excited about what we call the independent operator model. For people who want to enterprise their own business within a business. And that's kind of always been our thing.
Beautiful.
And I hope everybody listening right now is sitting in the front row and taking notes, because you're getting schooled right now. It's beautiful. Let's take it in another direction. Let's get off of insurance, because I want to get to know you guys a little bit better. We're going to fire off some questions that we ask every guest, and we want to know what's up with Erb and Young. So first question is, who are you guys cheering for right now?
Is this in life?
We leave it open-ended.
Yep.
Who are you guys cheering for right now?
Man, I'm cheering for our team leads. I'm going to go right there. Just cheering team leads. A lot of the stuff that we've done, we've released a lot of control with the operations and the marketing of the business. And each area has kind of been identified of specific leaders. So, man, there's just a lot of wins right now with those guys and gals. And secretly behind, just big time cheerleaders for them. So I'm really, really excited for this stage of their career, because I can relate to it, because we were there, and I just don't want them to miss it. I was sent a text last night to the group that we had an event. I'm like, don't take those for granted, because you're going to look back and you're going to these times that you're just grinding and out trying to meet as many people as you can. And they're just so rich. And I just know what that's like to have those memories, and what it means to your self-confidence, to your fulfillment, to where you sit on your timeline and be able to look back on that stuff. And so I'm ridiculously excited and cheerleader for those people right now.
I
love that.
Ukraine, cheering for Ukraine. In all seriousness, that's really heavy on my heart, as I know many people around the world. But I think specifically, man, anybody that's willing to delay gratification and do the work. I think, how I got into the business and how I got into a professional world, I had a lot of people get big jobs and big incomes around me. And, I was a starving artist for a long time, and continue to kind of reinvent that old wheel in my own life. But I have mad respect for people that are willing to do the work, take a pay cut. Brett mentioned the Path to Unlimited, just those type of people. I think that's what America is all about. I think that level of risk, that level of ownership should be rewarded in a very, I don't want to say unfair way, but Brett said disproportionate way. The people that are, delaying gratification, taking stuff upon their shoulders. I'm really cheering for those people to, see the fruits of their labor. And that's a lot of agency owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's a lot of employees that sign up and take risks. And so lately that's been top of mind for me.
Love it.
Rod, what do you got?
Rod.
I'm cheering for Ricky Fowler, man. No, nice. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Although I am cheering for Ricky Fowler. He's playing one mile down the road from our office. I'm cheering for the independent channel, man. I truly believe it's hard to compete against me when I want you to win too. That's what I got.
Cool.
I love that.
That's great.
We're champions of the independent channel. I bleed it. We grew up this way.
Yeah, precisely.
So
you should toss that next question at Rod, because of what's behind him right now.
I was gonna go. What are you guys investing in currently? What's that look like? The stock market's a bloodbath, but what are you investing in?
No, he didn't say the right question. He was supposed to ask what you're reading.
No, I was going to leave that for next. I want to know what they're investing in, because I got Robinhood open right
Bitcoin.
now. So what do we got? Oh, we're crypto.
Rod's all about the Bitcoin.
Are you?
Man.
I'm not crypto. I'm Bitcoin.
Are you a Doge millionaire? Is that you, Rod? Did you become
crypto
a Doge millionaire?
No, I'm a boring investor, man. I'm a boring investor. I'm a boring marketer. I'm a boring sales guy. Nothing sexy about what I'm invested in or what I do, man. So personally, what am I invested in? I'm invested in a lot of things, diversified, but did listen to a podcast. Shout out to Lewis Houston School of Greatness with Grant Cardone on the other day. And that really fired me up. And he was just talking about kind of how he thinks about investing in yourself and then investing in marketing and then kind of invest in other stuff after that. So I continue to look at our business and the way we've built it. We're just constantly reinvesting back into that business in a very ridiculous way, seemingly. And sometimes that's frustrating, quite honestly, because that's just 11 years of continuing to reinvest. But that's kind of the discipline that I'm excited about and top of mind.
Love it.
How about you, Brett?
Yeah, I'm a our dad is a financial advisor. So when it comes to investing, I'm as boring as it gets. But when it comes to what I'm invested in, it's all back in the business, man. I'm doubled down on what we're doing. I check the boxes with all the retirement stuff, and I'll plan for the rainy day. But anything over and above that, as far as what everybody wants to tell me on how much money they can make with real estate and this and all that, I have yet to see a greater return of somebody putting it into an independent agent. I could show you a growth chart that if you were an investor in any class of your business, you'd be looking at me going, how can I get a piece of that? So I am all in with what we're doing, and every single dime that I can get a hold of, I want to put it back in.
Nice. Can we invest in your business? That's what we want to know, because Andy's got some spare change. He wants to get it in
from all the sports betting.
Let me get it in. Yeah, I'm sure
we'll swap you for shares of Glovebox. How about that?
Deal.
Great idea.
I love it. All right, Rod, what are you reading right now? What's on
That's what I'm looking for.
What do we got? What are we reading?
It's the true test.
Well, I'm reading the Bitcoin Standard. I have read the Bitcoin Standard. I'm rereading it, and I'm also reading Getting to Neutral, Trevor Moawad's new book.
How is Bitcoin going to play into insurance in the next couple years? You have to go long term, but how do you see it playing in?
Man, I wish I could tell you that I was sophisticated enough with Bitcoin to answer that, but I'm going to save you bullshit. I don't know the answer to that.
No worries. I was curious.
I
mean,
thank you for saving us the bullshit, Rod.
Can you tell us what an NFT is? Because I still cannot.
I can't give you that answer. I do think it will factor, but I'm not savvy enough yet to be able to have a real strong opinion that would sound credible.
That's all right.
I don't think anyone does, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that too.
What about you guys? What are you reading?
Oh man, I'm Getting to Neutral. We're reading that as a company right now, so I think Tail say the same thing. We're all in that. That's great. The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill, just cracked that. It is a monster book. I'm fired up about that. I'm reading The Law of Human Nature right now, which is a lot of psychology and the human experience, which is really cool. And then I'm reading The Uncaptive Agent, which is a kind of an insurance agency playbook.
I love that
development book. Yeah,
buddy.
I'm impressed that you read 4 books at once.
Andy can barely read.
It's unbelievable. So this is his eyes, and he only has 2 eyes, which is crazy because he's able to read.
Are you like a speed reader? You ever see these speed readers? I just polish that book off at lunch, no problem, no biggie.
I'm not. I'm actually slow, but I'm just persistent, man. I'm a tortoise.
Cool.
I'm a tortoise,
do you use your finger to like trail the words? That's what I do.
No, you do the S down the middle of the page.
Yeah, I like that.
I took a speed reading class, by the way, because I was like, all right, this would be amazing if I could speed this up. So I know how to do it, but it's not that easy, man. Like you have to
Sean
practice.
Too. I wish Sean was here. He took a speed reading class. He's all into that stuff. He learned how to do a Rubik's Cube super quick. Like he's into that sort of thing.
Oh wow,
self-development,
Yeah, but it's the most random stuff. I guess speed reading is dope, but like a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah,
like,
Rubik's Cube.
He was working on that for like.
What's the percentage of people that can do a Rubik's Cube? Like what type of percentage does that put you in?
Oh, I'm not included in that.
It puts you in a nerd category that I can't even equate. Like that's a whole specimen of people. But Sean is one of them. So can you guys do a Rubik's Cube, Caitlin and Gabby? No. See, we got 4 people in this room that can't do a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a top 1%er if you're doing Rubik's Cube.
You hear that, Sean?
It's next level, man. It's next level. Great hair, great Rubik's Cube skills.
Taylor, dive into this question.
Man, Uncaptive Agent was a great book. Just finished that. I'm just finished a book called Scale for the second time. Strongly recommend it. And then a book called Mindset that I'm just getting into. So, I like to read a few books at a time, and it just depends on the night or the morning on kind of what I'm feeling and what I'm trying to get into. I'm trying to read a little bit more fiction occasionally to kind of give the mind a break rather than just the nonfiction stuff. So I just started a book. I think it's written by Jack Nicklaus's son. So kind of interested in that.
Cool.
Nice.
Less than 6%, boys. Less than 6%, by the way. I just looked it up.
There we go. See? Wow, that's better than I thought. Man. Last question. What are you guys watching right now?
Oh, Peaky Blinders new season just came out.
Oh, fire!
Oh man,
go.
All right, we'll have to let Logan know he loves that show.
I've never seen Peaky Blinders.
I started it.
Oh my
I'm blowing it right now. Though. My wife
Yeah,
has
it's incredible, man.
Right now, and you have to go watch. I've watched it twice. I've watched all 6 seasons, and I've watched them twice.
You must have more time in your day than most people.
Wait, you ran it back.
Ran it back over multiple months. I don't watch any shows, none, and that is by far like it's not a show, man. That's a religion.
It's a lifestyle.
That shit is unbelievable.
I did that
Brett,
with
likes to say he doesn't watch shows because he's like, dude, I'm good. I'm not trying to watch a 21-hour movie. You know.
I'm a slow reader, you know.
I did that with Entourage. I watched Entourage back through.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Man,
So good.
Yeah, it's so good. What
Yeah,
else?
no, I cried the other night. I'd like to get that out there.
You didn't have to admit that.
And it had nothing to do with what you were
No, it's
watching.
fine. Yeah. 1883, man. Tim McGraw
sure.
and Faith Hill. And I watched the last episode and I cried like a baby.
That
My
is
wife was looking at me like, what is
hilarious.
wrong with you?
I swear to God, 30 minutes ago, Logan comes to my office. He goes, "Did you see the end of 1883?" I was like, yeah, man. He goes, cried like a baby. So you weren't the only one, man.
Yeah, good for him.
It is a good show. My wife's like, "You're watching country westerns now?" It's like, yeah, you haven't seen it. By the end of the season, she was glued. She goes, "Don't watch the last the episode without me."
Nice.
I was like, "You were just making fun of me like 4 weeks ago for watching the show."
That works, man.
Some of that, yeah. Rod, what are you watching, man?
I am eagerly awaiting the next season of Yellowstone, man. I'm a closet wannabe rancher.
There you go. There you go.
Got the
Yellowstone
beard for it.
is it for me.
Do you get in
What's
fist?
that?
Do
You
you
got the beard for
Do you
it.
get in fist fights every day like they do? Like, how do they get in so many fist fights? I swear to God, it's like everywhere
Right.
they go.
They
there's
drink
fist
so much.
fights.
They
drink
work with
so
their
much.
brother, you know.
Coors Banquet, man. Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
I guess,
That's my
man.
jam.
What you don't know about Rod can do everything. He's good at everything. So like, you can go fishing with Rod. You can go hunting with Rod. He knows a lot about a lot, man. So when I think of Yellowstone and those guys, I think he could be a cowboy.
He is a cowboy.
It's a nice compliment.
There's got to be somewhere you can apply to work on the Yellowstone. Like, there's got to be a job application
man,
you can fill out for somewhere.
You can take. How's that go? You can take the Yellowstone of the guy. You can take the. Anyway,
So
we get what you're saying.
I like where I'm at, man.
Get a good look at a butcher.
That's a good one.
You can't look at a butcher's ass.
Name that movie, ladies.
You
Name that
can't-
movie. Tommy Boy.
You can't take the Kevin Costner out of Rod. How about that? That's what it is.
Man, my wife likes Rip though. You know.
Oh,
wow.
all right.
Don't we all, Rodney? Don't we all?
Well,
God, I wish I was as tough as Rip.
fellas.
I mean, that's kind of my goal. I punch concrete at night.
Do you really? Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, all they do is get in
It-
fist fights on that show. Everywhere they go, everybody wants a fist fight. I don't
It
know.
helps. It helps.
You're just flexing this
Just
whole
in case I need to
episode.
break up. It's in case I need to break up Brett and Taylor.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
It's weird.
Guys, we haven't
I wouldn't
fist
want to be
fought
hit
in
by either
years,
one of
by the
those.
way. I'd like to
Truth
get
is,
that
I
on the
would-
record.
I wouldn't want to be hit by either one of those.
I mean, who punches harder? Let's get it out there right now.
I will say Brett has kicked me in the face before. I've never said that publicly.
How did that come about?
It's kind of like kissing and tell. You really don't do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But apparently,
But I did. I just did.
You got some
Yeah.
hip dexterity. You get your foot up there to the face. That's pretty good.
We were good the next day, though. Honestly,
Sometimes that's all it takes.
I love it.
It's
can
been a
appreciate
while.
this
T-Box.
has been years. We're talking a decade here.
like
So
it.
I
It's
would like
been
to
a while.
clarify.
That was a good story.
Maybe
too.
we should do like a boxing match, man. Like we should go live on our
I
socials.
would like. I'd do that.
The Erb and Young. Are we doing MMA?
Not
Are we
I'm
doing
talking-
boxing?
It's,
What
it's
are we
gonna be.
talking
It's got to be
about?
street fight.
Are we going full
Anything but-
MMA? Yeah.
Go-
For
yeah.
charity?
Knuckles.
Yeah,
Go
I like
Larry.
this.
Go old school.
Sponsored
old
by
school
Glove Box.
Rumble.
Fights over
Bare
deep.
knuckle. Bare knuckle.
We've fallen off on a tangent here.
Well, guys, this has been amazing. And we appreciate you guys so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you guys as friends. And candidly, we look up to you guys as industry leaders and owners of an amazing agency. You guys are doing awesome things. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for Erb and Young, because I think it's going to be a destination of sorts of where people want to work. I think you guys are setting a new standard for our industry, and I think it's super commendable.
I couldn't agree
thank
more.
you so much.
Yeah, and like,
Make me cry.
I'll be honest, if you're not following these guys on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, I get a lot of tips, Brett specifically on Instagram, that you're inspirational as hell, man. super sophisticated on everything you're saying. You're putting a lot of good stuff out there, and the LinkedIn side as well. I mean, you guys got your podcast. You're doing a lot of great stuff, education and resources for your team. Really appreciate everything you do for this industry. You're on this show for a reason. Like Ryan said, we do look up to you, and love the collaboration, and looking to team up more. So thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you in person very soon.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
Man,
Thank you guys so much for having us.
That means so much, and I think Brett and Rod are probably thinking the same thing I am, and I think it's worth saying. You guys have inspired us more than you'll ever know, man. Leaving Denver and just being in proximity and having some of the conversations, and in a lot of ways it was like looking in the mirror. In a lot of ways it was like looking at your mentor, because you've inspired us in ways that you don't know, man. So we listen, we follow along. We're huge fans. We talk about who do you want to win, man. You guys are right in that category. And I love how you guys continue to grind and show us what's possible.
Super cool.
Let's go.
We appreciate you so much.
It's just like Rod with Kevin Costner, man. That's how I feel right now. Man.
Have a lovely day.